Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to navigate from activity A to activity B. So far we've been building apps that only had one activity, so one screen. Obviously, more complex apps will require to have several activities. So in this app, we're just going to learn how to go from activity A to B. First thing we're going to do under Java, so right click and go to New, go Activity, and go to Blank Activity, and we're going to name our activity Second Activity, and layout name, so it's going to go and create our layout XML file. It's fine. Go to Finish, and you'll see I'll go ahead and create our second activity, and creates also our activity second, which is this one. So we have two now. We have this first one and the second one. Alright, so let's go to our second one and delete. So right click, delete, and we're gonna add a text, a medium text here in the middle. We're gonna go and say second activity. So this one says second view text, that's the name of the string. It's gonna say I'm the second activity, so let's copy that and go back to our second activity here. The text, and inside of the text here, we're gonna say add string, and then pass in our string ID. So if you save here, you'll see here it's gonna say I'm the second activity. Great. And while we're here, let's go ahead and change. Let's go to our main activity and get rid of this too. Delete. And let's put a button here, which when we click, it's going to take us to the second activity. Perfect. Let's go to our strings again so that we can write a name for our button. So it is second activity. Save. So button title. Let's go to our main activity so we can then change here. So we're going to add string button title. Enter and save, and go to design again, and you see here, go to second activity. Perfect. Now that we have our UI, our user interface done, let's go to our main activity and start setting things up. So the first thing we have is it's a button. So we say private button, my button, and we need to import Alt or Option Enter, import the button, and say my button is equal to, let's cast it, find view by ID, r.id. I think you would call it button. There we go. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and set our on-click listener. So my button dot set on click listener. Enter. So you say new view dot on click listener. Put enter, get rid of all of this, and of course our braces there. And inside here, let's right click, go to generate, override implement methods, and click OK, and we should have our on click view here method. So how do we then go to our second view, which is our second activity here when they click this button? Well, we're going to introduce you to a new class called intent. So an intent is a class that allows us to do operations to be performed. For instance, if you want to open a new screen or a new window or a new activity, you would use an intent. And there's a lot of other functionalities, other things you can do with intent, which we will see in later videos. But think of an intent as an intention, as an action that we want to perform. So to start a new activity from the activity we are currently located, we do this following. We call this function called start, and as you can see, it takes in an intent. So we can then say new intent, and then inside of the intent we put our class, which is our main class we're coming from. So this class, we say main activity dot this, and then the second parameter is the name of the activity that we're going to. right? In this case, it's going to be our second activity here. So we say second activity. Perfect. And you have to put that class because it's a class that we've instantiated here. Now what this does, it says, well, call this start activity function, and it takes in the intent, the thing that we want to do, which is to go from our activity here, which is the main activity as you see here, to our second activity. Let's save this and run. And there we have it. And now our application is running, and we see our button here that says go to second activity. Click on that, and it shows I am the second activity. Now let's take a look at what Android Studio gave us. Let's go to our manifest file here, something I need to show you. It used to be, if you were to use other IDEs such as Eclipse to develop Android applications, you would have to come here every time you created a new activity. You would have to come here and register it. The good news is Android Studio is such a wonderful IDE that goes ahead and puts all of this code inside here at the moment when we create our activity. So it does all the work for us, which is wonderful. But I want you to take a look here and see. We talked briefly about manifest file was to always register your activities, and here it is. So you see this tag says activity, and we're calling it the second activity as we call it here in our Java file. And notice there's a dot second activity here. So now we have it all working. So if we go back here and start again our activity, you see you can go back, go to second activity. Every time you go back, it goes back to your first activity. There it is. Perfect. See you in the next video.